Yeah, and my name's Bryce Marsh. My whānau hail from Te Pairāwhiti, the east coast of New Zealand, Aotearoa. I was born and raised in Rotorua, which is in the Central Bay Peninsula. I identify as Irāwhiti, which is two-spirited. I'm a Leo, Libra moon, um, with an Aquarius rising. I do enjoy astrology, reading the stars and being in alignment with the universe, and also with who I am, in regards to with my cultural identity and also my own gender identity. Maori are the indigenous people of Aotearoa, New Zealand, and it's estimated about 500 to almost six, even 800 years ago, there were waka or canoe that came through the Pacific Islands. Māori, we have Hawaii as our point of origin, where our tupuna come from. And there are numerous waka that come through the Pacific Islands and ventured and made it to Aotearoa, New Zealand. So our society back then, we had iwi or tribal groups in different areas throughout the coastlines, close to rivers, lakes, having our own values and morals within our own iwi that treated everyone with fairness and respect in the sense of who they are physically, but also spiritually, our own way of life that was very flourishing in the sense pre-colonization. Now, the earliest documentation of the word Takatapui that we have on record dates back to actually 1832. Takatapui is given the definition as the intimate companion of the same sex. And so that historically has been before, during, and post colonization. Takatapui has been used as an umbrella word that associates anyone who doesn't identify as heterosexual or their cisgenders. And within Te Ao Maori culture, those people who were takatapui were loved and embraced and accepted within their communities and within our culture. Then unfortunately coming into colonization with the effects of religion changed all of that because it was deemed sinful. It had a really negative impact for our takatapui whānau, and that had carried on to today. And then not until the 1980s, young Māori youth reclaimed the word takatapui to use to express who they identified themselves as. Since then, there's been ongoing new kupu that have been invented to help break down the different realms within the takatapui community. Hururua kore, which is used to describe non-binary, but also we have irāwhiti, which is described as non-binary or two-spirited, and also ira kore, which is used to describe those who, again, identify as non-binary. So I took ownership of myself, owning that I am takatapui. And then because I also have a feminine and masculine side, and I can very switch into both. And then coming into the realm of investigating into my own gender identity and who I am, I resonated heavily with the term irāwhiti, which is still it's a recent term. And I feel like takatapui is a beautiful word in what it represents, but it's quite generic. Whereas with these new kupu, it does, in a sense, it helps validate those who feel like they belong and where who they are is accepted Because another deep cultural belief in Te Ao Maori is back in pre-colonization, people weren't necessarily identified from their gender, or there weren't certain kupu around genders. Everyone was perceived as their own spirit. Still today, a lot of our people, especially our youth, are still cast out, or there's still stigma that lurk around, and there's still violence and political agendas. So it's all still quite recent how progressive we've been as a nation. But now we have services for our Papapapui youth that help support them and wrap around the love and guidance and direction